Hey everybody, Sick this here again to talk to you about what I bought and what I watched today. And today, headed out to my local Walmart, got myself a bunch of great titles on DVD, so let's take a look at what I got. The first title I picked up for only $10 was this 4 horror comedy classics set. This comes with Elvira Misses from the Dark, Transylvania 6 5000, House 2 the Second Story, and Return of the Killer Tomatoes. Now for $10, I thought this was a great deal. I do already own House 2, but as far as Elvira Misses of the Dark and Transylvania 6 5000, I have both of those on VHS, so I'm picking this up to replace both of those. Very happy to do that. And also Return of the Killer Tomatoes. It's a title I've had on my wish list for a while now, so happy to get that as well. Again, for 10 bucks, this was a steal. Then for only $5, I picked up this Mill Creek 4-movie collection set. This comes with Saving Silverman, Little Black Book, Hexed, and Life Without Dick. For $5, I thought this was a great deal to pick up. I do already own Saving Silverman on DVD, however my DVD copy is the PG-13 theatrical cut. This here is the R-rated version, so very happy to get that. Little Black Book, I'll probably skip watching. I really have no interest in watching that. Hexed, I'm very happy to get. This is actually the main reason why I picked this one up was for Hexed, because I do have that on VHS, so I'm picking this up to replace my VHS copy. And Life Without Dick, that is a movie I've thought about checking out for a while now, but I've never really jumped on ever watching it. So now they have it, I'm definitely going to check it out. Then for another $5, I picked up Night Court, the complete first season. And for $5, I thought that was a steal. A great deal for a complete season of Night Court. Now this here's a show that I never really got into. I remember it being actually played on TV when I was a lot younger, but it's a show that I just never really watched. I maybe caught 1 or 2 episodes a very long time ago, but have not seen anything since. But for $5, I figured I'd pick it up and check it out, and hopefully it's as funny as I remember. Then once again, for only $5, I picked up a Western double feature set featuring 2 John Wayne titles. Those being Tall in the Saddle and The Train Robbers. 2 movies that are brand new to me. As I said many times, I'm not really all that familiar with Westerns, especially classic ones. Up until a few years ago, I was really only into modern day Westerns. I never really watched any of the classics. Not that I had a problem with them, I just never really bothered to check them out or really get into them. But recently, I've been picking up more and loving what I've seen thus far, so getting these for $2.50 a piece was a steal. Definitely had to grab this. Then once again, for only $5, picked up another Western, this time being Silverado. Grabbing this one to replace my VHS copy. I've actually not watched this one yet, so now they have it on DVD, I'm definitely going to check it out. Then the next 2 titles I picked up, I actually paid $7.50 a piece for. That is a little bit over my normal $5 per title limit, but I have been splurging a bunch lately, and these are 2 titles that I really wanted to have in the collection, and the first one was Christine. Now this is a movie that I had on VHS, then I ended up replacing my VHS copy with a Laserdisc copy, but I really wanted to get myself a DVD copy to go along with my Laserdisc copy as well, but I never come across this movie for cheap. I assumed this would be one of those movies that I'd find really quickly at a pawn shop or flea market or yard sale, but I never come across this. And the very few times I have, it's always been scratched or for way too much than a used title should be being sold for. So I've never been able to pick this one up. So I figured for $7.50, brand new, I would grab it and finally add the DVD to my collection. And the last time I picked up was Let the Right One In. I decided to pay $7.50 for this because this is a title that I really wanted to get in my collection and check out, mainly because of you guys. A few days ago, I watched Let Me In, said it was great. I said it was probably one of the best movies I've seen all year, told you all to check it out. It was a fantastic watch. I then got a lot of comments of people telling me that I really needed to see the original. I did know that there was an original, I just never bothered to watch it, but everybody was saying I had to check this movie out, so I was definitely dying to see it. And I figured for $7.50, what the hell, I'd pick it up, add it to my collection, and check it out. And I actually watched it tonight, so let's talk about it. So that's it for what I bought today, so now into what I watched. And today's first Halloween Horror-thon title was, like I said, Let the Right One In. Now, my thoughts on this movie might be the unpopular opinion, and I'm sure I'm going to get some flack for this. But I gotta say it. It's my opinion, it's how I felt, and that is, I liked the remake more than the original. I just did. I thought the remake was a much better done movie than the original. With that being said, I didn't think this was bad. I thought it was great. I would definitely recommend checking it out. It was a well done movie. In fact, I'll probably be comparing the two, the original and the remake, a lot. They're very similar. The remake is very, very close to this movie. It strays only in slight ways, but for the most part, it is this same movie. But in my opinion, I thought that they kind of took everything from this movie and improved it. They got rid of a few things that I thought worked better in the remake than they had in here. They also took some little things from this movie and made it just a little bit better in the remake. I just thought they did a better job with the remake. There were some parts in this movie that I enjoyed, but I wasn't thrilled with, thought could have been better, and then they actually made them better in the remake. So that was my downfall with this. Maybe I made the mistake of watching the remake first, I don't know, but all in all, the remake, it was better. But as I said, not a bad movie. It was definitely a good movie. I'm not really going to go into the plot too much because I really already described that and my thoughts on the plot when I just talked about the remake. You can watch that a few episodes back, and it's the same movie, so I can't really talk about the plot of this movie without just repeating myself. But it is fun. It was well done. It is certainly a good movie, but I can't recommend this one to everybody. I would say this one is really more for diehard horror fans or just diehard cinema fans in general. If you're just your average moviegoer, you're just, a person who's not a diehard movie fan, then I'm going to definitely highly recommend you check out the remake, but you might want to stay away from this one. It is a foreign movie, so you're going to be either reading subtitles. Actually, let me say, I highly recommend reading the subtitles on this movie. It's not dubbed very well. I started out about watching 2 minutes of this movie being dubbed, and I went, okay, I'm reading tonight. I don't mind watching a movie dubbed if it's done, good enough. This wasn't. The dubbing in this was horrible. It was really, really bad. So this is a movie you're going to want to do some reading on. You're definitely going to want to play this one with the subtitles. It makes the movie a lot better. But again, it's not going to be a movie for absolutely everyone, just diehard horror fans and diehard cinema fans. Then I would recommend picking this one up and checking out if that pertains to you. But if you're just your average moviegoer, watch the remake. It's the better of the two. It's just done better. It's everything about that movie, for me, I thought just improved on the original, personally. There's some weird things in here about, and a bit of a spoiler alert here if you haven't seen this. Apparently, our female vampire in this movie actually isn't a female. There's a scene where they show her, well, what would be her vagina, but apparently it's a scar of where her dick and balls used to be. Apparently. I didn't get that at first. I was kind of wondering why it looked the way it did, and I thought, wait, was she supposed to be a man, or what's going on there? So I looked it up online, and apparently, yes, she was supposed to be a boy at one time, but I guess then had it chopped off, and I didn't really understand why. I didn't quite get that. It really didn't make sense to me. Whereas in the remake, and I looked this up too, I thought to myself, all right, well, does that mean she was a boy in the remake? Did I miss something? And in the remake, they do constantly have her saying things like, would you still like me if I wasn't a girl? Which I kind of was just thought she was referring to, I'm not a girl, I'm a vampire. But then I started thinking, oh, maybe she meant she was a boy. Maybe I missed something. Maybe I totally missed some part of the movie that maybe I looked away for a second or just missed some little bit of dialogue that I wasn't paying enough attention to realize that she was actually a boy. But after reading some things, apparently in the remake, she's not. Some people thought maybe she could be, but after I read enough, apparently the popular vote is no, she is a girl, she's not a boy in the remake. And I like that better. I don't understand why she's really a boy in this movie. If you understand the idea behind that, explain it to me. I didn't quite get that, why she would be a boy in this movie. It just seemed pointless. I mean, I didn't really see the meaning behind that or the point behind it. But again, I could have missed something, and if I did, and you know what's going on there, explain it to me. I'd love to hear your ideas on that. But it just didn't make too much sense. So again, like I said, it was a really good, really well done movie, and I would certainly recommend it to diehard horror fans and diehard cinema fans. But I did think the movie had a few problems with it. I did think there were certain parts of this movie that could have been done better, and after watching the remake, those parts that I thought could have been changed and done better were in the remake. Also didn't like the fact that his father's in this movie. I liked more in the remake how his father, you hear him on the phone a little bit, but he's really an absentee father, whereas in this one, he is around a bit more. I didn't really like that character, so again, just all in all, the remake, it's better. And I'm sorry, I know a lot of people are probably going to disagree with me, And it's very, very rare that I actually say that I like a remake better than the original. 90% of the time, I might like them both, but I'll say the remake is the better of the two, or I mean the original is the better of the two, but not in this case. In this case, I'm definitely saying go with the remake. So once again, as I've already said about 100 times, if you were a diehard horror fan or a diehard cinema fan, this is certainly worth picking up, checking out, adding to your collection. It's a great, very well done movie, but I would also recommend, and this is definitely for all you fans out there of movies but not diehard fans, check out the remake. It is a great, fantastic movie. Again, I really like the whole 80s feeling of the remake. I like the fact that the remake, it felt like it could have been a movie done by Steven Spielberg. It really took me back to movies of the 80s, and that was one of the things I really, really liked about it, kind of the setting and the feeling of the movie. It just gave you that great, like, E.T. kind of feeling, and it was really well done, whereas this one didn't really give me that feeling. This one did take place in the 80s as well, but it didn't really give me that great 80s nostalgic kind of feeling when I'm watching it, whereas the remake did. So definitely, I highly recommend everybody check out the remake. It is fantastic, especially just your average moviegoers. Again, this one really only for diehard horror fans and diehard cinema fans, but all in all, it was still good. And the second Halloween Horror-thon title I checked out today was Scary Godmother: The Revenge of Jimmy. This year being the sequel to Scary Godmother Halloween Spooktacular, which I watched yesterday, and this is actually a pretty solid sequel. Is it as good as the original? No, but is it still solid and does it still hold up? Definitely. I really enjoyed the story, how it's a continuation off the first one. It takes place next year, next Halloween. And at this point, Jimmy is terrified. He's afraid the monsters that scared him at the end of the last special are going to come back and get him. And he gets this idea to destroy Halloween. Figures if he destroys Halloween and ends it, then the monsters won't come back. And it's a good idea and it works. It's a fun Halloween special, but if you're like me and you're a nerd and you start thinking about, does this really make any sense? No, it doesn't, because he does stuff like he smashes all the pumpkins and he TPs a house and he's doing things like that. He marks all the costumes flammable and all the candy poison in this one store. And he makes it look like that's going to stop Halloween. And unfortunately, he's kind of succeeding. And the whole town, the Halloween town or the Halloween realm, which Scary Godmother and all the monsters live in, starts kind of falling apart because Halloween is being destroyed. But what doesn't make sense is, when you think about it, why would destroying a pumpkin patch ruin Halloween? Why would destroying the candy and costumes in one store ruin everything? Although they might mention that he wrote poison on the candy and flammable on the costumes in some other stores too. I forget they mentioned he did that. But regardless, he can only go around to some stores in the town. He also TPs a house. Okay. They can go to another pumpkin patch. They can go to the stores that are outside the town that Jimmy never went to. It really wouldn't ruin Halloween. Plus, they're only ruining Halloween technically in that one town. It's not like he'd be ruining it all over the world. So it kind of doesn't make sense. But with that being said, it's still well done. And it still is a solid sequel. And I would definitely recommend it. As I said, you can get the original and you can get this sequel for only $5 right now at places like Kmart. And I would recommend definitely picking them both up. They are great Halloween specials. They have that great essence of Halloween. They put you in the Halloween spirit. They just capture Halloween perfectly. They're great, great TV specials. Unfortunately, this was the last of the Scary Godmother specials, which is definitely a shame because this, like I said, it was solid. It wasn't as good, but it was still a good sequel, and I really think it warranted more. I would have loved to have seen a third Halloween special, but unfortunately, we never got it, at least not yet anyway. So still, a solid sequel, and I would definitely recommend picking up the original and this one as well. They're both great. So that's it for what I bought and what I watched today. Definitely got some great titles from my local Walmart today for some pretty good deals. Definitely looking forward to checking all those out. Also watching Let the Right One In. I do apologize if my opinion is not the popular opinion. I'm sorry, but I just liked the remake better. I thought it was a much better and more well-done movie. But as I said, with that being said, I still thought the original was great. Let the Right One In is a great movie that I would highly recommend checking out. It was really good. I just thought the remake was done better. It took what was already a good movie and just made it even better. Again, might not be the most popular opinion, and I know a lot of you told me that I needed to watch the original because it was so much better than the remake, but I would have to disagree. I thought the remake was better. But still, a good movie. Definitely check it out. And finally, watching Scary Godmother: The Revenge of Jimmy, a great solid sequel to the Scary Godmother Halloween Spooktacular special, and I would definitely recommend picking both those up. So that's it. Thanks for watching, and stay tuned to see what I bought when I watch tomorrow. See ya. Saving Silverman I do already own on DVD. However, my copy is the theatrical cut, whereas this is the R-rated version. So very happy to get the shit. I almost had that.